So, what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to do a quick understanding of mineralogy and some geology of Mars. Content not available. And we're having a problem with this again. Why? Content not available. Okay, it's working. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the game here. And the first thing we're going to do is, well, we're sort of going to look at this map here. But before we do that, I'm going to put this over here. And we are going to look at web page, which is here. And then we're going to take off the image, which I don't even see on the list. Oh, here it is up here. Alright, so we need to find a good place to start the main mission, which is to basically collect resources and survive on Mars. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to study a little bit of the terrain, look at the names of some of the places on Mars, figure out why we want to go to certain places. Now, I've done some research, and I found out that on Mars there's basically 2 or 3 main types of minerals. There's pyroxenes. If we were to, there's hematite, which is Fe3O4. So hematite is basically your iron oxide. So if we look at our concentration map here, we'll see that we've got high concentrations of aluminum oxide, silicon dioxide, sulfur trioxide, calcium oxide. The iron oxide's kind of low. There's nickel and so on. I've discovered that there are calcium, I think it's calcium sulfates, and in that area is located what's called the olivine deposits. The olivine deposits are higher in, well, actually, wait, just back this up here. I discovered, I was trying to figure out, like, about glass. I was studying glass first, okay? Then I realized that there's a type of glass that works better with a larger temperature range. So sodium borosilicate glass, which is like Pyrex, can withstand temperatures better. Well, that uses soda, which is Na2O. And if we look at our map here, we happen to have a concentration of Na2O. Actually, not a lot of it. It's only 20%. Which is interesting. So, but it just means that we can put a small trace amount of boron in the glass that we're going to create to help withstand the wider range of temperatures, which it's between like -100 and 0 degrees on Mars. So anyway, I was looking at that, and we've got soda, aluminum, some components of glass here. And so then I looked at the structure of what was used to create some of the glass and some of the components in the game. Most of what was used was called silicon oxide, which is not readily available. Silicon dioxide is what is used in making glass, which is SiO2. If I go back here, actually it's alumina. Well, this is silica here. So if we go back up, this is not glass, but if we go look at silica, silica is SiO2, silicon dioxide. Now that's just a component of glass. So if we look at the concentration, I mean, it looks like it just says 1 unit of silica, 1 unit of Na2. And so on. There's some magnesia in there. We do have that component, and there's quite a bit of that. So what I'm doing is I'm just saying that maybe we can add certain components. So it looks like most of the glass is made with Al2O3, which is aluminum oxide. Al2O3, which is, we've got plenty of that. I wanted to go to my directory, but in order to do that, I'm going to drop the web page here real quick, and I'm going to bring up my directory, and we're going to look up what I wrote down to synthesize glass. Now I've got sodium oxide. I got 2 units of sodium oxide and 2 units of silicon dioxide. So that's going to change. We're going to change this. I can go ahead and take this off, I think. Wait just a minute. No. Let me just bring this back up. We're going to have this list up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab Notepad. Now, I don't know what color boron is. We could probably look it up, I suppose. I think I got it here somewhere. It doesn't really... Well, see, they're talking about showing 2 possible ways that boron was deposited in veins at Gale Crater. So yeah, actually, we might be doing our mission there, but we're gonna talk about that in a minute. So here it says the team found evidence of 43 calcium sulfate. So that's CaSO4. Now, if I go to my list, I don't believe I have calcium sulfate in the list here. So what happens is, so we've got sulfates, and calcium. Calcium is was going to be used to make lime, but that's not practical because lime's got water in it. Water freezes. We may not have a use for the calcium sulfate, but that's where the boron's located. And so if we go to our, it doesn't really say what color it is, but Right, Filmation. Let's just go to boron color images. It's kind of a greenish color, so it's kind of a grayish color when it comes out of the ground. So what we'll do is, so that's a darker form of silver. I think I have. Let me just go to my. Let me go back to this here again. Let me go to. Let's see. Go to my list. I can't remember what I used for the silvery colors. Oh, aluminum oxide. So it could be darker than aluminum oxide. Aluminum is a lighter color. So what we'll grab aluminum oxide here. Actually, aluminum oxide I think is a white dust. I don't know, but we'll just grab this anyway. And then I will put it down here. Let's see. Maybe we'll put it down in here. Actually, let's put it up here. So now what we do is we just add boron in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my RGB map. There should be a chart here somewhere. So it's kind of like a darkish silver color. So that's hundreds across the board. So we go here, go to our boron. Now the boron is going to be in a very low supply. And so if we go back to our web page on glass, we see that silica is used. We got the sodium oxide, the alumina, I thought I had read somewhere that there was a percentage of what is used. Oh yeah, here it is up here. So glass for container, soda lime glasses account for 90% of manufactured glass. So it says that calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, and aluminum oxide are added to provide better chemical durability. The resulting glass is 70% silica. Sodium carbonate, which is usually undesirable. Well, let me look up crap. I gotta look something else up now. plate glass, float glass, see-through windows. I thought that was in that list. I didn't want to go through all of this here. Maybe I can find it in the list here. See, it says silica is silicon dioxide, not silicon oxide. Of the many silica-based glasses that exist, ordinary glazing in container glass is formed from a specific type of soda lime glass. 75%. That's container glass, though. See, it's got silicon dioxide, in there. What did I read that other? Oh, God. I just read that somewhere else. Well, anyway, what I'm going to do is going to go back up to this synthesis here, and we need to add, see if I add, we're going to have to, this is not what I wanted to do, but anyway, I'll tell you what, let's do. We're just going to do this real quick. Okay, copy. Let's say if we want to add an additive. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this output glass 1. And then up here, see, we only have the small refinery, which only has 2 inputs. So if we add a component, now if it says 75% silicon dioxide, which is the silica, so that would mean, let's say if we have 100 units here, no, wait, crap, it would be 75 there and whatever other percentage of your other elements. So if we look at that list for glass, we've got sodium dioxide, lime, magnesia, which is MgO. We got to add all of this. We got to add some components of this in there. So it's going to take 4 or 5 glass numbers to produce that in the beginning until we get the large refinery, and it won't be as good of a product or as efficient. And I'm not going to do that now because I wanted to talk about where we're going to put our mission, and I wanted that's my main goal. But this will just give you an idea of what I have to do here. So let's just say that we're adding boron because we had added that earlier. And if you don't put a quote in there, everything crashes. The game will not work. And right now, the game is up, but I want to check something really quick here. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that my anyway, so we got glass 1 and glass 2 that we have to add, right? Eventually we'll make a component called glass, which is used in all of the products. So if that's 75 and this is, let's say, the sodium oxide's like probably, well, we don't have a lot of that sodium to go around. I mean, very little. If I, it's like 20% or something. It's not very much. So let's just say, for example, it's 25%. Okay. So then we just drop this down to say 2, and we could say that's a 7, and then the aluminum oxide maybe is, actually we could say this is a 1, and then the aluminum oxide that comes in later, you know, maybe it's a smaller percentage. And boron, we're going to even have less of the boron. Okay, so we've got 1 unit of glass 1, and we produce that. Now that uses 7. Actually, this should be a 10 to do the percentages correctly. Makes sense. Now, if we go to add the boron, now we've got 10 units of glass. We want a small percentage of boron. Now, if we make it a 10 and make the boron a 1, that's going to give 10%. That would be 7, 8, 9. Now, that's too much boron. 10%, well, I don't know if it's too much or not. Let's just use it as an example. Let's say we're just going to add 10% of boron to this. Now the output, you could say that it's 11, but it doesn't, it could, I don't really know. We're just going to call it that. Well, let's say that the final output is actually glass, and then that way we can only add, we just add the 1. So now we've got our glass created, and we've added a small percentage of boron. Now up here we did add the total percentage. So actually what we could, well, if I make this a 9, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? If I make this a 9, then, I mean, it doesn't add up because whatever, we don't have the aluminum oxide in. Just forget about all of that. It's eventually it'll go in. So that works, I think. And yeah, I think that's correct. See, this is the total percentage. Oh, I see what I see. This is actually, this might be an 8. Okay, that might be an 8 because that's the 8. And then up here, this would actually be a 9 because we're only putting in 10% of boron into, no, it's a 10 because we're putting 10% in. Well, no, that doesn't make any sense. We're adding a boron to the glass, so it's 9 and 1 to make 10. Alright, we'll save this, and then I'm just going to exit out of it because I don't need to go in there anymore, and then go back to my other list. I have to take that off. I can put it back on. So now we're going to go to down here where it says glass somewhere. Now we can use the same color. Actually, no, because we want to differentiate a little bit. We could say that glass itself is the lighter color, and the product that we're trying to make is actually a darker color. So we could call this, I think we'll call it 85. And then we've got to go over here and rename this because we copied. And now we have our intermediate component, glass 1. And that takes care of that mess. So let's go back to the web page. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to well, first we wanted to look for items. So like there's olivine, which I discovered. It says that olivine is rich in your I've got to look this up. Alright, so olivine has what's called magnesium 2, iron 2, and SiO4. There's two parts to this. There's Mg2Si4 here, which is one term, phosphorite, and then there's phaolite, which is Fe2Si4. Those are the main components. So now what happens when this product is melted, you actually come up with MgSi3 and FeSi3, I think. So let me just, we're just going to, let's see, MgSiO3. So as you can see, that's a particular type of pyroxene. It says, well, we can just look this up. The intermediate composition, meaning, let's see if we scroll down here, I don't know, enotite in space, etc., etc., etc. Doesn't really go into that, so. But that's one of the products that you get. I already looked this up. So anyway, and the other one is FeSi3. So if I look that up, FeSiO3, that's iron 2 silicate. These are the two products that you get when you heat the olivine. How did I find this? Well, I was looking up mineralogy on Mars, and we're going to get to that. So, and here it says that olivine concentrations were found on the Nelly Fosse region of Mars. So I went to go look that up. That's not where I want to go. So I found this, and then I was trying to figure out, well, how can I find this area? So there's two places. There's one where we've got this here, which is marstrek.jpl.nasa.gov, and then we've got Google Mars. So we're going to look at Google Mars first. And in the game, there's certain craters. There's Lyot crater, there's Gale crater, there's Kaiser crater. Those are some of the landing areas. Now, Lyot crater is up here, and if we look at this map here, which I'm going to drop the web page, and then we can look at the mineral concentrations of the various areas on Mars. These are, and I can adjust these layers. So if I want to look for plagioclase, I can bring that up. If I want to look for pyroxene, I can bring that up. And those are actually different, believe it or not. Like if you look real close, if you look at, oh, this whole map does go in that screen. Let me adjust this. Edit. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyway, if you look really close, you should be able, I don't see my arrow up there. well, I can zoom in. There's a crater up here. If you watch this red area, that's the pyroxenes. If I take that down and bring up the plagioclase, you can see that this crater up here has more of the plagioclase. So there is a difference. Those are just TES scans, and I looked that up. It's Mars MGE-TES, and then there was a discussion of magnetite and plagioclase, and so we have to look these things up. Now, so hematite is this concentration here of iron and oxide and whatever. And there was a map. Now see, I clicked on, there's a map here of where this person wants to go explore this hematite, which is a high concentration of hematite. And then there's andesite and basalt in these yellow regions here. Let's see. Okay, so now here we've got a distribution of hematite in Sinus Meridiani, where Meridiana Planum is located. So now if we go to, we might be able to find Sinus Meridiani here. Now there's Lyot crater up there, right? So if I look up Sinus, I have problems with my Sinus Meridiani. My Explorers, it dies on me for some reason. I don't know why it does that. So this area, there's this area, and I can't get rid of all of these other ones. Sinus, I'm going to have to copy this here. So that just shows up. Okay, so we know where Lyot crater, we know where this is now. And then if we look up Lyot crater's here. Alright. So we've got that crater, and we can notice the graphical distribution of everything here. And I believe the large, see the large valley right there with the, oh, you can't see it on there with the mouse. I'll try to center it. Well, oh yeah, you can see the hand. So that's this area that I wanted to go in because Olivine's located there. However, there's no landing place to get there easily. If we look at the opportunity, wait a minute now. Just a minute. Okay, so this is where this hematite was located, right? So I've got to go back to Google Map and say that. So okay, just remember. We'll try to remember that. Now what we're going to do here, we have to look up. We're going to go back to search, and that just flips that over. Now we're going to look up. If I looked up hematite, hematite's not in here. But we can look up Sinus Meridiani. There's a mosaic. We don't want to add the mosaic. we'll just go there. Where that yellow, I believe it's where that yellow place is. No, I think that's Gale Crater too. Oh crap. I think this is Gale Crater. I don't. These little squares, those are the locations of the olivine. And you can't really see. It doesn't give you the name. Alright, so you can see that area here, the big valley right there. I thought that's where Gale Crater was, but I guess I was wrong. So that does look like the map here. If we look at the big map, you can see this area. So you can see the area in red here. And I wanted to look up andesite too. Let's look up andesite. That's a grayish color. It's volcanic rock. Now we've got another map here. If we put this image up, which seems to be very well hidden. And I have to go back and drop the web page. The web page is not even up. So let me go over here. I'm trying to make things a little bit easier to use, but it doesn't work out very well. This is a geologic relief. Now you can see volcanic materials in the purple. There's Valles Marianas. The area that we were looking at, I believe, was over here in the brown. There's your basalt, which is in the purple. So we're looking at breccia, like eroded pyroclastic basic granite material. Get volcanic plains, canyon floor. The canyon floors are the eroded areas, show up the olivine more, which has the iron that we so desperately need. So we're looking at that. So there's Tharsis Montes is this purple area. That's volcanic material, and basalt is a darker purple. Olympus Mons, Alba Mons. See, I don't even know. So if we look at that up on the map, and let me just go ahead and get rid of this again and bring up the web page. We wanted to find out what this is composed of. This is the basalt range between. So that's your silicon dioxide. So theoretically, what was that name of that area? What I'm going to do is bring this over here. You can see the names. No, let me just look it up here. Alba Mons. It's not there. Alba Fosse. Okay, so it's probably there. Now if we look at Olympus, Mons is right there. Okay, so that's this purple area. And then if we go to here, that's north of this. I'm not, there's no, well, if we take this back off, how do I get to my layers? Layers. Okay. And then we can bring up plagioclase. See, there's some stuff there. What I'm looking at is kind of like over this big valley. And actually, we might, you know, there's only these two things over here. Let me just crank this up. See, there's a lot of plagioclase in the red. There's the higher concentrations. The pyroxenes are like that. The iron concentrations. I don't really see that there. Oops. Why? Oh, I can move these up. I probably have to. Well, getting a little bit lost here. What we're gonna do is we'll look up Gale crater, and then it says fly to. Now if we back up on this, now let me drop the web page. I'm just going to back up on this real slow. Now you can see this big area must be Gale crater. We're just going to back up real slow. And the hematite area was in, we looked at that, didn't we? Sinus, isn't it? I think we looked at that. Now how am I going to find that? Where's that big valley? Oh, here we go. Okay, so if I go back here, it was Sinus Meridiani. It was up here. God. Where's the other? Well, now I seem to have lost hematite. To go back here. Alright, so it says, it doesn't show up in the web page. It says right here, Sinus Meridiani, and it shows you exactly where this Meridiani Planum. Oh, I wonder if that's on the map. That gives us a better location. is there two views up there? There we go, that's better. Meridiani Planum. Here we go. Oh, it's right up there. That's really interesting because I think Gale Crater is right near here. That's the location of the hematite. And if we go back to the layers, and now we can zoom up on this really nice. It's slow. No, wait, I don't. See if I look up. Oh, wait just a minute. See, I can't. If I go. See, I've lost the dot. Alright, let me go to Gale. Gale Crater. Oh, this looks different, doesn't it? Where was I before? I was over here. Gale Crater is way over there. Wow. That's not good. Let's look up, let me look up. Now I know there wasn't anything in the Kaiser Crater area. There's Kaiser. I'm thinking we want to see if we can be up in this area here. We know we don't want to be on near Lyot. There's nothing there. Now if I go into the game, which it's just showing up there, if I go, I have to go to the space program, and it's a little bit messed up there, but it's showing up behind the web page. And we'll go to the map. There's Gusev Crater. Actually, see, I want it to be. See, there's that big valley. Victoria Crater might be our best option. Now see, like, we can't even, Victoria Crater is like, it's only a small, you know, that's our whole thing here, to explore. There's Lyot up there, there's Kaiser Crater over here, and there's Gale Crater. Gale and Gusev. So let's go out of the game. Let's look up Gusev. Let me just see where it's located. It's like that's way over the way. So that's not good. And there's Victoria. So yeah, when I make the mission using my own resources, I want to do it as realistic as possible. Oh my gosh, Victoria Crater. Oh my gosh, it's right there. Are you kidding me? Yes. Yes. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, this is so sweet. Now it doesn't, of course, it won't show the. Let me go back. Well, it's like right on top. It doesn't, it's right there where that red thing is. You know, so like that little one, that little one is not. I don't know why all that's purple. That's where the opportunity. Okay, so Victoria Crater is over here. So you can see as far as the game goes. Let's go to the layers, and we'll look at the layers now for Victoria Crater and see what we've got. So we can't even, as far as plagioclase, okay, there's hardly nothing there. Pyroxene, yeah, that's not looking so great. That doesn't seem to do anything. I thought it would change those maps. Mosaic opportunity. But anyway, your minerals, olivine and pyroxene. So as you can see, if we get closer, there's most of the stuff is located right along the edge here. And there's some concentrations up there. These are pictures. Reconnaissance. So that's Victoria Crater, and there's some data there. It's not the best that we can. It's all that we can do as far as I lost everything here. I lost my layers. It's not like we can get in the game and traverse the whole map, you know. No, let's look up plagioclase. And now here's plagioclase. What has it got in here? Players scars, overall fraction of. Yeah, blah, blah. I didn't even look this up yet, so. So that's your aluminum silicate, aluminum oxide. So that would be a higher concentration of aluminum oxide. So what I'll do is I'll go into my notes on to here. Higher concentration of Al2O3, and now the other one is what? I have to find out what time it is. It's 2 o'clock. I was looking at the map. Pyroxene, olivine and pyroxene. Okay, so your olivine, that's your higher concentrations of iron and minerals. So that would be, I wanted to find Gale Crater too. But anyway, that's this here. and probably along the edge or behind the edge of that crater where the wind has eroded that material. That's where we're going to find our higher concentrations of olivine, which give our, I probably should have wrote that down already. Yeah, I already got, let me just put a higher concentrations of aluminum oxide, and so I could just take this off here, and then the olivine, higher concentrations of FeO, which according to our basic list of materials, the FeO is only at barely at 20%. But if we mine olivine, then we get 20% out of the olivine, instead of, like, if we mine 100 soil, we're only going to get 20% of that soil is going to be ferrous oxide. And if we mine the olivine, I raised that up to 25% because that was the picture that I saw, and I think I believe it was this here. Let me just bring up the web page again. So if we look up the olivine, now see there's an area there called Nella Fosse, and that area was a higher concentration of olivine on the whole planet, I think. Meaning there are areas, see the red? There are areas of higher concentrations of iron oxide, and they're located in the valleys. They're located in the valleys here. As you can see, these red. So so it's possible, you know what I'm thinking. I've got an idea. Because I'm not really happy with, like, if I go to the game, let's go to the game, and what we'll do is we'll go back we'll quit the main menu, and we're going to go into the editor, and we'll look at, oh, there's some other place in here. There's Cydonia Mensae, Idias Planeta, Ptolemaeus crater. But as far as exploration, I mean, we could do, it probably doesn't matter, you know. But I wanted to look at Victoria crater. Here it is. So by going into the editor, we can just see what it looks like. I think it doesn't show the map view though. No, I can't see anything. There's a lot of, see the weather. Let me go to the, so I'm wondering if Victoria crater has worse weather. Wow, okay, so that's pretty huge. I've never looked at any of this. So like we could create a mission here anywhere, and like if we just grab a small area here, let's say off to the edge. There's a lot of wind here. It's a flat, big flat area. So like if we put a man here, just to give you an idea of what he looks like. So Victoria Crater is not going to be a very good choice, probably because of the weather. But we've got data there. But we might be able to get data off of... We've got this general idea of where these higher iron concentrations are, right? Let's go back to search and let's look for Gale Crater. Or better than that, let's look at Nelly Fosse. Let's see, I don't know. Okay, so there's Victoria Crater was over there. Nelly Fosse is over here. So if we look at this and take off the web page again. Why is it staying like that? Oh. But that's really small over there. What the hell happened? Well, I guess it's okay. So this is the Nelly Fosse area. I mean, the areas that were studied. So you can see here's mineral concentrations. They took them around the valleys. You can see the red around the edges of the crater. It's red. I don't know exactly what's going on there. But this is, now you can see this. See around the edge of the crater where it's all red, so that's higher plagioclase, pyroxenes, it's kind of like that. And this really doesn't show up here. The olivine's not showing up very well. There was another map that showed the olivine better. Let's just go to the Gale Crater here. I don't even know what bookmarks are. The Opportunity landing site. That's where the Victoria Crater is, I believe. Let me just write this in again. But I'm not going to want to. That's weird. Victoria doesn't even show up. What the hell? Did I lose all my search function? The search function's not working. I wonder if I can refresh this. I lost all my bookmarks and everything. So we add the data set and then go back and look for opportunity. add that. And you can see the trail there. Victoria. And there's the Victoria crater. Opportunity went there. I mean, we could do that, historically speaking. It's just that I don't like the area from what we have available on the map. And there was those other ones. I don't know. Let me look at. Oh, no, wait just a minute. The editor. Cydonia mensae. Let's look these other ones up. And see where they are. There's that. So we want to be in an area that's, we want to have our mission in an area that's rich with valleys and craters, a lot of exposure to the ground. Now see, there's really no valleys there. If we look at Gale, now see, we've even got some areas that have been studied here. This is Gale Crater. And there's a nice valley right there. I honestly think this is the best place to go. I really do. So let's look at, we're just going to look at all the other ones here. Isidis and Gusev. Oh, that's like a flatland there. We're definitely not going to go there. Let's go back. Now, if I were to add, if I were to go to the see, there's no. Where's the olivine? This pyroxene. See, like, see how purple that is? There's like no pyroxene there. No plagioclase. It's a very poor landing spot. The hematite doesn't show up. What was the iron? The iron in the... It's olivine. That's this here. Let's just see what that area is here based on the map. How come? Yeah. Again, that's Victoria Crater, but I want to go back to Gusev. Let's see where that is. That's even worse. That's like way over there. I mean, just because it hasn't been studied doesn't... Okay, see. Oh, now this is red here. This might even be a good possibility. Let's go to the layers and see what we've got here. No plagioclase. That's all purple there. See, I'm wanting to trust the TES data. This olivine, I don't trust it there. Although if you look at that map, now see what that's way out in that purple area. I don't like Gusev. But if you look at the map here, it almost, like maybe when something hit there, like there could have been a lava flow right here. So it's almost like there would be a really good possibility that there could be a lot of olivine along that valley. So just out of curiosity, Kaiser, Laya, no. We got Ptolemaeus and Victoria and Gale are so far are our 3 opportunities. Opportunity, right? But I want to go in and look at Gusev. Just see what it looks like here. Now, I guess, do I... I have to create a file before I can change the weather. This seems like it's pretty windy. So you can tell by looking at this map here, it's mostly craters. There's no real valleys here. I don't like it. I definitely don't like it. Oh, and I've got to change this. Mineralogy for Mars mission landing site. I just want to do that. Let me go back to the editor. So Gusev is out. I know those areas are out there. We looked at that. Let's see what Ptolemaeus looks like. We'll just see what Ptolemaeus and Victoria Crater look like on here. So there's like a big crater there. There's sort of a valley there. I'm still not liking it. I don't want to be around like one big crater area. I'm thinking it's better to be in a valley of some sort. I don't like it. So let's go back out. And we'll take a look at Victoria Crater. So far, Gale is looking pretty good. Now let me... Opportunity is in here for a scenario. I thought that... Yes, that's true. Oh, that's interesting. Let's go to... I'll just make this queue. Create. And then go to... Scenario. And take a look around. So this is like one big crater. Everything else is pretty flat here. So, oh, look at that down there. That's those pictures of those what we would, it's probably dust, but we could, yeah, that's probably what it is, but we could say that it's a result of methane vents. So we, so that takes care of that. I go back out. Now I go back to the website, and we're going to look at those two craters. Ptolemaeus. Now we can see where that is. Let's go to the layers. Where's Gale Crater? Is that? I can't remember if that's Gale. That's Victoria Crater up there, I think. That's where we were going next. Victoria. Victoria Crater. Here. Okay, and then Gale Crater. Gale is over there. And then if we go to our layers, as far as realism goes, Gale Crater is our best option for the game. And I don't know. See, there's higher concentrations of stuff up here, but we can't get there. So that's Gale Crater. So now if we look at what it looks like here, there's supposed to be a valley. So that whole thing is Gale Crater. And if we crank this up more, we can sort of tell there's a red area over there. And there's a red area right along that ridge on the inside. There's a line there with a ridge. That line just has to do with a map. But there is pyroxene in there. So now the question is, I think the game puts, there's this valley right in here. So the game puts you somewhere about in here, in that area, and then there's this deep cut here. Show layers. Why? Oh, it did take that out, didn't it? Oh, sweet. Why is there 3 of these? Oh, I see, because there's 3 maps there. So if we look at this one here and get in there, it's really saying that it's the whole area is red. That's like high concentration. That's what it's saying. So I think how we're going to do this is that the local wherever our drop's going to be, I guess, we have to have a flat landing spot, and then we need to be able to go into this valley. That's where more of the olivine is going to be located. So let's say when we start out we get 20% iron, and then let's say that we get into the valley, we actually find the olivine, and then we get a little bit more of a concentration. I think that's a good idea. I think that will work. The other thing was the pyrite, the calcium sulfate, possibly along where these lines are. Like if there's in the map, if we see, let's go to the map, because so what I'm thinking is we'll start the rover mission, and then we'll start with the Victoria crater, because that's the opportunity rover. And what we'll do is we'll work our way, once we get more money, then we'll work our way over to the Gale crater. So let's go, actually, yeah, let's go to the Gale crater. So this has been pretty cool. I've been able to figure this out. I could just load up a mission here, like so if we back up on this, maybe we can see the whole area better. So this is the whole game map. It's only like one, it's a really big, huge square. It really is. So I'm trying to find, let me just back up on this and see if we can figure this out. I don't want to go back too far. Let's see, I can't figure it out now. I think that's the main valley. This map is huge and I can't tell. You know what I gotta do? Wait, let me go back up here and load this game again. You know, I gotta go back down here because I'm losing my orientation. Okay, see, that's the main valley right there. That's the main valley. So if we go up, this might be the other area right here that I was looking at on that other map. See where this kind of goes? It kind of runs down into the main valley here. And then there's a hill. And I lost the main... Okay, the main valley is way down there. Alright, now I can see better. Now I see that main valley right there. And then up around here. So the idea is that the higher concentrations of iron are going to be down in this main valley. and probably the deepest area somewhere. I think that's going to be the goal, is that we've got to look for the iron down in here, like the olivine actually. Now I don't know why that's messed up right there. Is that water? I don't know what that is, but I want to find out. I'll just call it WW. Oh wait, can I play this with him in there? Yes, I can. This isn't water or ice down here, is it? I wonder what this is. We're gonna find out soon enough. Like, that's really strange. Oh, you know what this... Yeah, I don't know what that is. It could be a glitch or something. Or it could be just a high density fog that's in the game. I don't know if I want to go down in there in the game itself and do anything. That's kind of strange. So actually you can look at the ground here and you can see different colors. Meaning up here it's like brown, and down there, you know, you've got you've got those striations, I guess you could call them. If we look at the map here, that's well, I don't know. Those are your grids for your resources. And of course there's nothing in there because I haven't scanned anything. But anyway, this is what the whole map looks like, I guess. And there's sectors here. There's a crater there. And you can see there's like these mountain things here. Maybe the methane vents, or a methane vent, would be located, well, I would think it would be located down there too. Let's go out of the map. Nope, let me go back out of the game. So what we're actually doing is we're looking for a good landing site, and I'm thinking the best area is, well, actually there was another crater in the middle over here. I wonder if I can go back to that map. I can't. Let's just go down here. I want to look at something. Alright, there's those mountains. There's the other crater over there. Now see, this looks good. I like this area because I'm seeing the cliffs here, where there's all this erosion. That's going to be the best places to find the olivine, is all in that erosion. That's my guess. Now we just go over here some more, and like right down in there, maybe. You know, if there's none of that watery stuff, which I think is. Oh yeah. Definitely. What is that? Look at that. That's actually glass. We could look at that. There's rocks. I can't really see it from here, but that's glass they got there. Oh, there's some more of it. We could call that the olivine pockets. Oh my gosh, look, it's all showing up now. Oh, you know what? I'll bet you any money. I can't click on that. It's a static object. But I will bet you any money that's where, that's the olivite. But I can't put a man there. That's cute. That's really cute. There's probably more along the edge. Where's that crater? See, I want to go, so let's just go over here. We're just going to go run this valley. Maybe look for rocks. There's really not a lot of rocks in the game. Oh god, what did I just do? I don't know what I did. I think I went all the way back to the beginning. Oh god, I'm lost now. I think I want to go this way. Oh god, I can't. My keys are all messed up. I can't do what I want to do now. Something messed up with my key. Shit. So we're going to run the 2 rover scenarios, and then there's even, in the space program robotics, and then there's actually an opportunity. There's an opportunity scenario for the Victoria crater, so we could actually probably run that scenario and see what that's all about once we get to the point of getting a rover there. So I'm just looking for... There doesn't seem to be any... There's no rocks here. It's not... The game's not updating. Let me go over here. I gotta wait for the game to update the screen. I don't know why it's not updating. I'm not seeing any rocks at all. That's the edge of the map. Alright, wait a minute. You know what? Let me load a scenario. Maybe that's what my problem is. Okay, that was really weird. I don't know why I was having a problem there. Just gonna update. I don't know what's going on. But as I go along here, I mean, there's this valley, but there's really no, there's not a lot of erosion areas to look at. This area, there's something wrong with the map. The map is not updating or something. Well, we know what we saw before. Oh, there they are. So maybe it's just fuzzed out for a reason. There's no rocks here. Alright, where's this crater? And where's that other area that I looked at? I can't find that crater. I mean, I like this area. See, there's a lot of erosion. There's a lot of possibility there. There's a mountain up in there. See, there's rocks here. I mean, to get started, you know. And getting down there is not quite so bad, but I want to find. I think this is the best area. I can get down in here. See, that's probably your olivine. And see, the glass is starting to show up here. I wonder if it shows up if I put a person in there. Let's find out. So it does show up. Okay, so those would be our higher concentrations of olivine, most definitely. And the iron is more in the rocks, I think. The iron is in the rock, the aluminum is in the sand, which makes a lot of sense. So this is like all your sand right here. And there's plenty of rock material. I don't know, like, if we can add if we add rocks, can we exploit? Can we study them? You know, I don't really know. So it looks like it's going to be a Gale crater. And then if we go through and go back here, we've got the idea from Google, well, not from Google Map, but so let me just find Gale crater here. There's Gale crater over there. That's as far as in as I can go. So there's a pretty good little mountain there. I don't know where that valley is. If we go back to here, I don't know why. Alright, so what I'm going to do is let's go back and add the web page. So, alright, to sum up, we got the rocks and the valleys to find the olivine, which has the this is not where I want to be. Let me just go up here. It's got the higher concentrations of magnesium and iron. And the calcium sulfate we can find in the striations, and that we use the calcium. If we look at our availability for that on the map, there's calcium oxide, so there's quite a bit of that. The calcium's used to help treat water and supposedly make the lime, but now we're going to use some of that. We'll use some of that for our glass. That way we use less aluminum oxide. The magnesia, MgO, magnesium oxide. Now there's a fair amount of that, so that with the aluminum, I mean, it shouldn't be any problem to make glass type material. And that's found more in the sand, and the iron oxide's found in the rocks, except for the olivine. I think that's really all I need to do. I think we're done. So, and then we'll do the 2 missions. We'll start with the missions in the space program to start learning about, like, if I get into the space program here, there's a section in here that talks about collecting resources or finding out if there's resources. So what we'll do is we'll go to objectives, and we can scroll down, and our main priority is geology. So if we look at that, it tells us what we need: camera, alpha particles, soil scoop drill, history. We're interested. Let's see, basic terrain mapping of Deimos. Mars climate. You know, we could learn about the Mars climate. And what I got to do is get rid of web page, the window captures, and go back to game capture. I'm getting a lot of stuff going on there. Sorry about that. Then let's see, levels of radiation, color camera, radiation assessment, but we're really more interested in the composition and distribution of Martian soil. So we need the alpha particle X-ray spectrometer, soil scoop, and drill system. So if we go to our tech research and we look up on the left here, there's the drill system. The soil scoop system. So to get soil scoop, we've got to have a power socket system. Actually, before we even get to that, we need a soil analysis probe. We need that. Soil analysis. The soil scoop system gets further down. The alpha and the chemistry. So it looks to me like it's a data recovery tool. So it's this whole area right in here. So we have to work our way up to get to that. That's only 200. And we'll follow some of the processes to do that according to... We can only research an area so many times, I think. I don't think you can keep going down and landing on the same spot. I'm not really 100% sure about that. There's neutron. This is all radiation stuff here. Chemistry and geology, soil pH. So I don't know why we can't just go to this area and start, you know, doing this kind of stuff. And then what we'll do is we will go to that opportunity scenario. I'm going to look at it real quick, which happens to be, actually go back. Oh, it's scenarios. Opportunity. I think opportunity is the only one. Let me go back into the editor, go to the Victoria crater. We're almost done here. So if I load, see, it says opportunity. I can load the whole scenario here. It's kind of cheating, but... So it looks like it starts, you know, it does a bunch of stuff, right? It's a scenario. So, and there's different things here. So this helps you to learn about... Oh yeah, I remember doing this. These are all like events. So let's see, there's not even any, you don't get no money there. It's weird. Maybe that doesn't show up. It only shows up in a campaign or something. See, I don't know what these things are down here. There's more of that diamondy looking stuff. It says here you don't get any money for looking at this. Network entity. Oh, I know why, because it's just a scenario. I get an idea, I want to try something. Well, I don't think I can save it anyway. Even if I change something, I can't save it, because it was built by somebody else. So, I guess that's it then. We just go and plan on moving towards the rocks down low towards the bottom to find the olivine. We get more iron that way, and that's really the only main problem in the game, is to find sources of hydrogen, iron. Well, the hydrogen and nitrogen I create by making these beds from the refineries to add a bunch of waste products to create the methane and nitrogen that way. And that takes probably a good month or more. It's going to take 2 weeks before I can even build a large refinery. So all of that's been taken into account. The aluminum and the silicon is easy to find, the iron is not, but it takes a total of something like, I don't know, it's like I'm lucky if I get 40 iron every 2 days. Okay, so that's and then I'm just going to, let's see, I'm going to show you real quick. See, bring up the notepad here. So normally we get most of the iron oxide out of the rocks. So that's 20% out of 10 units. Okay. Now, what I've discovered is that if I go, I've got to split here, and I got synthesis here. What I've discovered is that I can make an alloy, and the alloy is a balance between iron and nickel. So nickel is at 30% availability, iron is at like 20. And so if I combine those in a certain way, then I can save on my iron. And the way I did that, the way I do that is as follows. So first we get the 20% of iron, then what we have to do is we split the iron oxide with carbon monoxide and we create what's called a low-grade iron. That's a 1-to-1. Then what we do is we synthesize the alloy, and the alloy is called Elenvar, which is a real alloy. But we're going to add some other materials and take away some materials and make the mix. It's going to be a 50% iron and 40% nickel. It ends up being 60-40. But so if we go through the process here, we've got low-grade iron in Mars soil, that's 5 units. We mix that with water, even amounts. Then we add 5% manganese, which is a low quantity. The manganese is used to get rid of the sulfur, which I'm seeing now that I don't have here. In other words, I can't extract the sulfur, but it does get rid of it. Sulfur causes the iron to deteriorate. Then the nickel and iron combination is called a pig iron. It's a lower grade. So then we've got our iron at even units. So now we've got 60% of iron and 40% of nickel. And what that does, it gives us a 100% of, well, it changes back to iron because that's what's used in the creation of all the blocks. Now, I have to go in and change some things anyway, but I'm not changing the iron. I'm just going to leave that the way it is. I could change it to Elenvar, but at the first, it's 2 stages. At the beginning, it would be called Elenvar, which is a low-grade pig iron. And then later on, when we get the large refinery, we're adding magnesium chromium, then we're adding some aluminum, then we're adding, actually that shouldn't be a 6 down here either. I think that should be a 5. So I did something wrong here, because we're adding, oh, these numbers might totally be wrong. 2%, 1% chromium into 20. Where's the manganese? Oh, I've got magnesium. I wonder if that's supposed to be manganese. Oh no, maybe not. This magnesium is added. And now I've got 10 unit. I've got an even number of aluminum added to this Elenvarum 1 is just a pre-product. So it's like just in a liquid or whatever. So then I'm adding the aluminum to that. So that's 10 units of aluminum. Then I take the Elenvarum 2, which is the 10 units of aluminum, and I'm adding 50 units of low-grade iron. So that's a 60. So I still have my 6 product, but I'm only using 50 units of low-grade iron, whereas before I was using 60 or 6. So it's just a more efficient way of creating the alloy. And then I'm adding the magnesium or manganese down here. It's the manganese that gets rid of the sulfur. Yeah, that's what I got up there, but I couldn't reclaim the sulfur. Down here I can reclaim it. And then once the low-grade iron is mixed with the aluminum, which is at 10%, that gives me my 6:4 ratio. Because I got aluminum in there too. Pretty cool. So that's basically it. I guess there's really nothing else to talk about. That's how we're going to do the mission. So we do the rover space missions and see how that works out. Then maybe we could play with the rover scenario. Then we will set up the actual mission and plant this guy somewhere on Gale Crater, and we will lay out the locations as to where the pockets of methane and olivine are located. And as far as the pyrite, I don't know if I'm going to use that or not, but that's it. Yeehaw! I love this game.